Good morning. Great to be with you again. I do want you to know that it has been a delight and a pleasure to be here this morning. I want you to appreciate what you have as a congregation. My wife and I get to travel a lot, speak in different churches, work with different pastors and different ministries that take us in different locations. But as I feel like I have the freedom to talk with you, all right? You've been patient with me as I've spoke here so many times, and I want to encourage you folks. You have some things here that God has gifted you that you may just be taking for granted. And a service like this morning is one of those things. Don't let what you're used to just become normal. All right? Kathy, thank you for this morning. That touched my heart. I appreciate that. You have some talented folks. You have very loving people in your church. I see hearts here that love the Lord and that want to get to know Him better, no matter how mature you are, right, advanced in years. We can always experience a deeper aspect of Jesus, can't we? I could go on and on, church. I just wanted to pause and emphasize to you, as someone who's an outsider but someone who gets to be with you often, that you have something that I don't think you've recognized that other churches don't have. Please hang on to that. May God continue to fertilize those things for your future. I know God has a pastor for you. I know that. Okay. In the meantime, make sure that you are developing hearts of thanksgiving. Okay. Appreciative hearts. Hearts that want to love people more and love God more. And hearts that will never give up the desire to see the Great Commission carried out, making disciples. Thanks for letting me share my heart. Just don't take things for granted, okay? Matthew 13 is where we are at this morning. Matthew 13, and I will tell you that the seed of this sermon actually came from someone who I was underneath their teaching for a very brief period of time, and so their teaching was kind of like the catalyst for the sermon. Okay, so I can't take credit for it because this particular minister kind of encouraged my thoughts on this passage. So Matthew 13, I'm going to read verses 1 through 9, and then I'm going to read verses 18 through 23. I'm going to get this parable before us, all right? It's about the farmer who went out and spread seed. Okay, I thought this might be, I've had this sermon in my hip pocket for months, just kind of waiting, when's the right time to do this? And it dawned on me, hey, why not now? You know, my wife and I are kind of getting our garden ready. In fact, we went and got some seed, pea seeds. There we go, pea seeds, just this past weekend, because we're going to get ready to plant. My brother-in-law, who passed away, said, plant your peas as close to St. Patrick's Day as you can. Okay, you can get those in. And so we got those, and we're starting to get our garden ready. And I thought, well, if we are, other people are. And the farmers are starting to gear up and say, okay, do I have enough seed? What am I going to plant? All that kind of stuff. And so here we go. All right, we're going to look at seed. We're going to look at farmer. Here we go. On that day, Jesus went out from the house and sat by the lake. First of all, right there, that same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat by the lake. Jesus had already been ministering. All right? And I would have anticipated once we got to chapter 13, he would just take a break. He didn't. That same day, he went out of the house and sat by the lake. Such crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat in it while all the other people stood on shore to listen. Verse 3, then he told them many things in parables, saying, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. Let's stop right there. Is this farmer experienced at all? You know, he's just kind of throwing seed, and it's not taking root. Does he know anything about farming? Verse 6. When the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Verse 7. Other seed fell among thorns and grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop, 100, 60, 30 times what was sown. Whoever has ears, let him hear. That's to us. That phrase is to us. We need to really be thinking and trying to figure out what's the message that we need, or messages we need to glean from this that Jesus is trying to tell us. Now let's drop down to verse 18. This is where Jesus kind of starts interpreting the parable. Listen then to what the parable of the sower means. It's interesting. The parable of the sower. Jesus didn't say the parable of the soil. The parable of the sower, the farmer. Verse 19. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their hearts. This is the seed sown along the path. Verse 20. The seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since they have no root, they last only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. Verse 22. The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, making it unfruitful. Verse 23. But the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 100, 60, and 30 times what was sown. So we're going to be looking at the farmer. In fact, we're going to call this the parable of the crazy farmer. The crazy farmer. You understand what I mean? Why he's crazy? We're going to break it down. First, the indiscriminate extravagance of the crazy farmer. The indiscriminate extravagance of the crazy farmer. He's throwing seed everywhere. He's throwing seed everywhere. Now, you and I, and especially farmers, when we sow seed, Cheryl and I, we've been preparing that ground all winter long. All right, working it, making sure it's got nutrients in it. And when we put our peas in the first we're going to put them in the correct depth. Reading the instructions, we're going to put the correct depth. There's farm implements now that are full of computers, and it knows exactly where you're at on your property, right? And it puts the seed in the depth where it's supposed to be. Okay, this guy, he's just throwing seed every place. He's just throwing it everywhere. It's like he has plenty of seed. Okay? Cheryl and I, we bought one packet of peas. We've never grown seeds before, so we got one packet. We're limited. You're trying to figure out, okay, how much do I want to invest in my seed? This guy doesn't care. It's like he has plenty of it. He's just throwing it everywhere. And it seems like he's intentionally sowing it on bad soil. The indiscriminate extravagance of this crazy farmer. Isn't he putting any thought into this? Yeah, he is. He's extravagant with the seed that he has. Number 2, he's an audacious confidence. He has audacious confidence as a crazy farmer. Audacious confidence. He's not worried about what the condition of the soil is. He's confident in the power of the seed. He's not worried about where it's going to fall, because he knows the power of that seed. There's power in the seed of the gospel, folks. Sometimes we don't give it enough credit. Just the power of the seed of the gospel, what it can do in any type of soil. This crazy farmer, this confident crazy farmer, he trusts the power of God to produce a harvest. He has such trust in God that some type of harvest will be done. So what's he doing? He's sowing where the hearts are at. Whether they're by the road, there's people there. There's hearts there. I'm sowing it there. Among the thorns and thistles, there's people there. I'm sowing it there. He sows where the hearts are at. You know what else? He's using what he has. Church, use what you have to reach people where they're at. Use your resources. Use what you have where the people are at. Don't be so concerned about the soil. This is not the parable of the soil. It's a parable of the farmer. Sow the seed of the gospel where the people are at. One of the greatest, I'm going to give you 2 of the greatest tools the church has. The first one is unity. Within a destructive, divisive world, people want a place where the people love each other. Where there's unity, there's not divisiveness. They love it when people, and there's a sense of security and contentment where the people are united in love for Christ. The second tool is kindness. Kindness to people. I think it's really interesting. Why do we have to be reminded as Christians to be kind? Why do we have to be reminded of that? We get so caught up in this world that kindness is hard to bring to the front of our character. On the way in today, I've passed this sign multiple times. It's a street sign, a traffic sign, telling me what to do when I get to this intersection. It says, stop. Stop. Then underneath there's a separate sign. It says, cross traffic does not stop. And what came to my mind is when Jesus was in the house of Mary and Martha. Where was Mary? She stopped and she was at the foot of Jesus, just soaking up everything he had to say. Where was Martha? She hadn't stopped. She was still busy. okay, for kindness to settle in, for kindness to really be seen in what we do and received, we have to stop and be at the feet of Jesus. Oh, there's times that we need to be busy. Busy, 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 busy. Look at Jesus' life. Oh, there needs to be a rhythm to stop at the feet of Jesus and soak him up so that our hearts will reflect him. Kindness. This world needs kindness. They need a place to come where there's unity. They need to be around people and ministered to by people who have the heart of Jesus. Kindness. Here's the last observation I see about this crazy farmer. The persistent patience of this crazy, crazy farmer. Patience. The first 300 years of the church, after the death and resurrection of Christ, the first 300 years of the church, scholars, pastors were writing books, and do you know what one of the major themes in the first 300 years of the church was? Patience. Patience. And I started to try and ponder that. Why patience? Because when you're planting the seed, remember the first number of years of the church, there was great persecution. The church ended up being dispersed all over the place. The church needed to understand the patience as they spread the seeds of the gospel. Patience. We need patience within our relationships, within the church, within the family. We need patience. And we need patience when we are being as evangelistic as we can, spreading the seed and being patient for the seed to take root. And being patient when things are starting to grow and yet that the world chokes out the faith of some people. Be patient. Don't condemn them. Be patient. Walk beside them. Be patient as you spread the gospel. And then as you water those seeds, be patient with the process. Be patient with the purpose. Be patient with the path. All right? Be patient with the process. There's power in the seed of the Gospels. I see him being patient with this one phrase. It produced a crop. When you plant, it takes months for something to grow so that you can harvest it. Patience. Patience. That is another thing that this world has robbed us of. Not just kindness, not just unity, but patience. And I blame it on McDonald's. The drive-through, the McFlurry, okay, the McBurger, whatever. It's just fast. And if we don't go through the drive-through quick enough, we're definitely not patient. That has crept into every area of your life. You might not admit it while you're sitting right here with your church hat on, okay? Every area of our lives has been touched by lack of patience. And right here in this parable, Jesus is telling us, be patient. It did produce a crop, but it took time to grow. So, Bureau Church, be patient. Be patient for the harvest. Be faithful. Be crazy. Be patient. Keep sowing the seed. Keep watering the seed. And remember, God will give the increase. We all have loved ones, family members who do not have a relationship with Jesus. Or maybe at one time they did, and it's not there anymore. It looks like they've turned their back on Christ. Be patient. Amen.